fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Core Class Autobot Wheelie from the Transformers Studio Series 86 line from Hasbro. So, pretty standard packaging for the Core Class here. You have the open window. You can reach right inside and touch the figure. Nice artwork of Wheelie here up top using his slingshot. And then here's a close-up of that same artwork here on this side. And then a little bit wider view of the same artwork here on this side. Not really anything going on the bottom, just have the Transformers, the movie logo there on the top. And then on the back, you have product shots for both the robot mode and the vehicle mode. So again, pretty standard packaging, but I think it looks really sharp. I like this packaging quite a bit for this line. I'm going to go ahead and get Wheelie out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. Here is Wheelie out of the packaging, and it's been a minute since we've had a Core Class or Legends Class Wheelie. I think the last one was Titan's Return. I'm not counting the little figurine that comes with Studio Series Grimlock. I don't even know why that exists. I feel like they must have known this was coming, and that thing doesn't transform, barely has any articulation, and there are a number of other accessories I would have rather had with Grimlock, like his sword. But whatever, that's a rant for another day. So going back to the Titan's Return one, I thought that made sense for the line at the time. I really liked the ability to have little Titan Masters ride inside. Totally fit with the play pattern for Titan's Return. But it made him bulkier. It definitely made him bigger and thicker. And I think that's one thing they've nailed here. The proportions here are very good. He's sleeker, more contoured here in the chest. I think the feet down here look pretty good. The arms are fine. And honestly, I think the robot mode looks pretty good from the front. If we turn around to the back, there are a couple of things back here that really bother me. I don't love the wheels back here on the back of the leg, but I can get over those. What really bothers me is just having this whole section just hang down here. I mean, instead of junk in the trunk, he's literally got trunk in the trunk. This is the entire rear section of the vehicle mode just hanging here. And I understand it's a Core Class and, you know, engineering is limited. But if they could have found a way to just lift this up a little bit, rotate it 180 degrees, and have it collapse against the back, I feel like it would have been perfect. I really do, because, I mean, his animation model doesn't have the giant windshield here hanging on the back. I'm pretty sure it's just a normal orange or gray, whatever color he is on his back. So if they could have just rotated this up, they would have had this look a little bit better, because I don't really like the windshield just hanging out there. And they could have gotten this off of the butt. And I really just feel like that would have really made this guy pretty perfect, because he's honestly pretty good. He's better than I first thought. When I saw pictures online, I kind of hated it. Having him in hand, playing with him a little bit, he's definitely more fun than I anticipated. But I just hate this thing hanging off the back. If only they could have found a way to collapse it on the back, I think they really could have crushed this one. But again, from the front, the robot mode does look pretty good. I think the Autobot symbol on the front looks really sharp. I like the head sculpt. Nice blue eyes there. You have the silver face. You have the dark gray all around the face there. I think that looks really good. Head can swivel from side to side. There is kind of like a little hinge here, and that's really more for the transformation, but you can utilize it for head articulation as well. You do have kind of two joints here in the shoulder, so you have this hinge kind of in the actual body, and then you have the ball joint here in the shoulder. You can go all the way out to the side. You can get a full rotation there. I do kind of, like, it bothers me a little bit how much these kind of pieces just stick out, because the torso section here is so contoured, and then you just have these big orange rectangles on the side. Again, not a deal breaker by any means, but I wish they could have just found a way to contour that a little bit more. I know it has to do with transformation, but you do have a ball joint here. Now, when he comes in the packaging, these are clicked in because you need to do that for the transformation, but if you want to utilize the elbow, you have to unclick that, and then you get a full ball joint there. Nothing in the wrist, but the hands here are just painted silver, which they look pretty good. Nothing in the waist. The waist joint is a little weird. We'll get into that in a moment. Ball joint here in the hip, so you can kick pretty far forward, decently to the side. Then you have a ball joint down here in the knee. Nothing for ankle tilt or anything like that, but I think the design here is pretty good. I like the gray paint. I think that looks pretty sharp. So all in all, I think the robot mode does look pretty good from the front. I hate this just hanging off the back. I just feel like they could have really crushed it if they could have found a way to rotate that up. He does come with one small accessory here. He has his little slingshot, as we see him utilize in the movie. So you can go ahead and pop that in his hand. It's not that exciting, but it is what he has in the movie, so of course they included it there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into transformation. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we are going to take the legs and fold down the toes like that. And then we are going to rotate at the knee 90 degrees like that. So rotate that around like that. Then we are going to come to the back and kind of lift open this little windshield section. And then we need to rotate this section around so that the head can fit inside there. And this comes around, and then you can kind of push the head a little bit further down and close that up just like that. Then we're going to take the arms and clip them back on like so. You want to lift the legs up 90 degrees. And then this is what I was talking about when I said that the hips were a little weird. So he doesn't have any waist articulation, but these pieces kind of come in, and they need to do that for the transformation. So I guess you could try to utilize that in robot mode, but it's a little weird. So you have to kind of bring these in, and then you want to peg these together like that. So you kind of want the hips brought together like that, and then you should be able to bring this up. Make sure you're utilizing this hinge to make sure that is all the way forward. And then there are two little tabs that are going to tab in right there and right there. So just bring this up, and then that all tabs in together. And that's the whole front of the vehicle mode. And then you're going to drop this down, and then you're going to use this tab slot on that tab. So just bring this back and tab that on there, like so. Do the same for the other arm. And there you go. There is Wheelie transformed into vehicle mode. It's not terrible. It's not the best. Obviously, the hands just sticking straight out the back bother me. I was trying to think maybe if they could have had some way to like have this section rotate around. I mean, I know that wouldn't really fit because you don't want the wheel hanging back there. Or even if they just had a way to tuck the fist down 90 degrees and fill this open area. Because you have this really big open area here. Now, technically, you're supposed to... There's a little peg spot there, and this is where you're supposed to store his slingshot. And that's all well and good, but I don't really need to do that, honestly. I would have much rather had the fists just a 90-degree hinge, have them come inside. Because if they were just tucked into this empty space, again, I feel like that would have been pretty flawless. I don't love the front. I can forgive that. I wish this came down a little bit more, and just kind of like this area seems kind of empty. And I understand, you know, they need this to be his waist, so they couldn't really... I mean, unless they put like a separate piece that you clipped on front or something like that. Because I get it. It's core class and it doesn't have the same kind of engineering as the larger figures. But I can live with this. It's not perfect aesthetically, but I can live with that. But having the hands just out the back here, I feel like if they could have just had them tuck into this space, and I feel like it's open, it could have done that. And maybe originally that was the plan, and then just the budget didn't allow for that to happen or something like that. I just feel like those could have tucked in so perfectly there, and then this would have been perfectly clean across the back, and I think that would have really worked. So, vehicle mode is okay. It's definitely not perfect, but from certain angles, you can kind of pretend those fists aren't back there. It rolls pretty well, which I do appreciate. So yeah, it's not perfect. It's probably like 80%. Because I really do like everything from this to here. I just need like this to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and no fists on the back. But again, I get it. It's a core class. I feel bad, you know, nitpicking it to death because it's a core class, but at the same time, it's so close to perfect. Just a few tweaks, and this could have been like one of the best core class they've ever made, honestly. So all in all, I think Wheelie is a fun little figure. I definitely enjoy it a lot more than I first expected to when I saw those pictures online. But it's not perfect, and I know it's kind of unfair to nitpick a little core class figure to death. But I think the part that bothers me is it's so close to being an almost perfect little figure for Wheelie. It's just a few small things that are really holding it back, and that kind of makes it more frustrating than if it was just a complete mess. I just really hate this giant piece that hangs here on the back. If they could have found some way to bring this up and just have it rest along the back. I don't even need it to peg in or anything, just to kind of come up and rest there. I think that would have just, right off the bat, that one little change could have really made all the difference. If they could have found a way to have the hands just with like a 90-degree bend to hide in the vehicle mode, I think that would have been pretty much perfect. Just those two little things, I think, really could have elevated this figure even more. But again, I get it's a core class. There's only so much budget, so I'm trying to be reasonable. And like I said, for what it is pretty fun. The vehicle mode is fine. It's not amazing. A couple little aesthetic problems. Kind of the same thing with the back of the robot mode. But at least it is the back. From the front, he does look pretty good in robot mode. So I know I'm being too hard on it, but I do like this figure a lot more than I thought I was going to. So I definitely recommend checking it out. In fairness, it is probably the best Wheelie figure we've ever gotten. I will give them that. I just think with a couple tweaks, it could have been even better. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.